Hey everyone, welcome back to the workshop. Artisan Pirate here, and in today's fun video we're going to be unboxing, assembling, and testing the brand new Rikon 22-inch variable speed scroll saw. How cool is that? Now, I have seen this scroll saw in action. The very first time I seen it was this past October up at the annual Klingspor Woodworking Extravaganza in Hickory, North Carolina. It's a massive two-day event for woodworkers everywhere. Rikon brought out their whole team, and they had set up all their tools and accessories for people to preview and demo on. And that is where I seen this amazing tool for the first time. It is a beast of a scroll saw, and I want to go on and give special thanks and shout outs to Rikon and Klingspor Woodworking Shop for not only hooking me up with the amazing scroll saw, but the stand as well. You guys know, if you are longtime followers, I do not have a proper stand for the Delta scroll saw I have been using. Last year I had to actually borrow a stand so I could take that scroll saw up to the extravaganza. Now that I have a stand, I will not have to borrow one. I'm going to be able to take this scroll saw out into the world to do live demos on, and maybe even set it up outside on a bright sunshiny day. So that is really, really cool. The only thing we need to do now is get everything unboxed and assembled, and I think it's only appropriate to begin with the stand itself so we can proceed to the main event, which is the scroll saw itself. So let's move the camera and do that now. And as I said, we're going to begin by unboxing and assembling the scroll saw stand. Everything is packaged nicely here in this one box with everything you need except the wrench. And one thing I can say about Rikon is they package everything exceptionally well. I remember when I unboxed and assembled the table saw that we are working from to put the stand together on, how well it was packaged to prevent any kind of damage when a tool or accessory is shipped to you. But I will begin by putting the legs together here, and the legs have different slots for different height preferences, and you guys know that I like having the scroll saw on an angle, so I went ahead and put the legs together in that format. And everything here is basic nuts and bolts to assemble everything, and it does not take long at all to assemble the stand. But now we will move to the floor to finish putting the stand together. If you guys like what you're seeing, I would highly encourage you to subscribe to my channel and also follow me across all my social medias under the Artisan Pirate name. I'd really appreciate the support. And I am making sure everything is nice and secure when I tighten the bolt down. And once we start assembling the top frame here, you will kind of see the angle that I'm going to have the scroll saw at once it comes over to the stand. Having a scroll saw on an angle helps prevent neck and shoulder strain, and it allows for hours upon hours of scroll sawing in comfort. Everyone who has came over to the workshop to see the scroll saw and take a lesson from me has immediately went home and put their scroll saws on an angle. So I hope that speaks for itself. But after the top frame is assembled here, I will flip the stand over and I will put the 4 feet on it. And the 4 feet here help prevent scratches if you are going to take your scroll saw onto hardwood surfaces, and helps protect from scratches. But now it's time to unbox the main event. Once again, the scroll saw is packaged exceptionally well, and there is some little accessories that I will set aside, as well as the instruction manual. And now we will get our first glimpse of this beautifully crafted 22-inch Rikon scroll saw. And I'll get rid of the box. We can take the plastic off and get our first true look at this amazingly beautiful tool. And with any new tool that comes in the workshop, I like to admire it and just see what all the features are on it and kind of get familiar with it. But then it will be time to move it over onto the stand and bolt it down. And keep in mind, this scroll saw is exceptionally heavy, so you may need help moving it over to the stand.
so just keep that in mind. But I will bolt it down, and if you see the stand wobbling around any, please understand that it's not the stand, that the shop floor is kind of uneven, so that is why the stand may appear to be shaking around a bit. But after bolting it down, it was time to plug it up for the very first time and turn it on. A beautiful and amazing tool by the Rikon company. But now we can switch back into real time and do our first test cuts.
And this, my friend, is the fully assembled Rikon 22-inch variable speed scroll saw. It is a rock solid tool. That stand is nice and sturdy, and let me tell you, even if you didn't have the stand, there would be no need to bolt this scroll saw to a workbench because it is rock solid and it is very heavy and durable. If you cannot lift heavy objects, I highly encourage you to have a friend over to help you line it up when you put it on the stand. I know the stand cannot be seen in the current angle of the camera, but it is plugged up and it does have power, and now you guys can hear it run. Again, it is variable speed, and you can tell it is very quiet, and this right here is about the speed I run on over on my Delta 20-inch scroll saw when I am scrolling and making videos for you guys. I have already installed one of my standard number 5 ultra reverse tooth blades that I am keen on using into it, and there is some more pieces to this scroll saw that I did not add. If you want to add dust collection capabilities to this scroll saw, they are included. There is this little clear dust shroud as well as a piece of pipe to connect to your dust collection or shop vac systems. This connects underneath. There is amazing little holes drilled into the table here to help that scroll saw dust, which is very fine, fall through those little holes to where it can be picked up if you choose to collect dust in your workshop with dust collection systems. I am going to take the tension off of the scroll saw blade here, and one thing I love about this scroll saw is when you lift it up, there is a pin in the back that engages to hold it up, and that's going to be amazing for interior cuts, you know, when you are changing the blade out or things like that. One thing I do want to remove, and I'm going to go on and do it now so you guys can see me do it, is the hold down foot. Now this, to a lot of people, is the appendix of a scroll saw. If you're familiar with the tool and you have some experience, such as myself, you usually take this piece off, but it is included with every single scroll saw I have ever seen on the market, from the low-end scroll saws all the way up to the very expensive scroll saws. So what I want to do now that that is gone, and the way that you lower the arm is you reach back here and disengage that pin and the arm drops. That might be a little bit of a farther reach for a female or a smaller person if they are trying to reach back there repetitively for multiple interior cuts. I don't know if I will like that feature going forward, but I will keep you guys updated on it. But what I will do here is retension the blade, and you can hear that there. And I'm going to use my handy dandy 3D printed blade alignment jig here, and we will double test everything to make sure it is at a perfect 90 right out of the box, and indeed it is. Perfect 90 that way as well. Really, really cool. Let me get a couple pieces of scrap wood and we'll do a few test cuts before wrapping up the video. Okay, my friends, I have picked 3 pieces of scrap material out of the scrap bin, and I've got a piece of cedar here, a piece of the standard 1/4 inch material that I make a lot of scroll saw project videos with, and a piece of pine material here. All of these are relatively soft woods, and it's what I like to cut on a scroll saw. As always, I take my time and let the blade do the work. Keep in mind this is a very sharp, brand new, fresh number 5 ultra reverse tooth blade. The scroll saw does come with a few scroll saw blades for you to practice with if you are just buying the tool, but I'm going to use the blades I am familiar with. But we will turn it on, and I'm not really trying to follow a line here or anything. I'm just trying to basically do some test cuts for you guys to see this scroll saw in action.
Really cool there. I have great control, and you can see why I like using those number 5 ultra reverse tooth blades. They cut extremely smoothly with minimal chip out, which is always good when it comes time for sanding during scroll saw projects. From this angle, before we go to any thicker material, I want to once again show you that pin that's in the back. If you release the tension and unhook the blade, like if you were going for a blade change for an internal cut, you raise it, and at a certain height you will hear it click in, and right back here, hopefully you guys can see it, is that little pin. Now the thing is, the head will not, I'm trying to force it down, you know, it don't want to come down on its own. So basically what you're going to have to do every time you do an internal cut is reach back and disengage that pin, which is a great feature. A lot of scroll saws do not have that, to where the arm will stay up, especially for a lower to mid-range scroll saw. When you get up to the $1,000 scroll saws, of course that is an essential included feature, but for a lot of the lower end scroll saws, that pin or anything like that is not included. So I'm happy to see it on the Rikon scroll saw. Again, for me, my personal opinion is, with the length of the throat here is 22 inches. Keep in mind my old scroll saw is 20 inches, so there's 2 more inches here that I have to reach back and disengage that each and every time. But what we will do once again is re-tension the blade here, and there is a fine-tune adjustment knob here for the proper tension. On my old scroll saw, it was kind of like a dial, and you just kind of went by feel there, so you can really dial it in with this knob that's on the back. We will cut through some pine here, and we'll see how true this scroll saw actually cuts. What I'll do to see if it's cutting at a true 90, even though we checked it with the blade alignment jig, another way you can do that is to basically cut out a puzzle piece. So we'll do that now. And again, this is pine. And again, if you're wanting to test if your scroll saw is perfectly dialed in, and this will be essential for stack cutting, is to basically cut out a puzzle piece, as you've seen we have done there. And if the piece will come all the way out, and then you can once again refit it on the underside and bring it back through, and as you can see, it'll pass through the other way as well. Now we know for sure that this scroll saw is dialed in at a perfect 90 degrees. We'll cut out an inch thick cedar now, and I'll just go straight through it just to see some variety here. As always, take your time and let the blade do the work. Really nice smooth cut there. Cut it just like butter, and this was 1 inch thick cedar. And I have no doubt in my mind that this scroll saw is also going to be able to tackle harder woods like walnut,
oak, mahogany, maple, if I ever get a chance to scroll some of that with some projects and all. But a really great and very powerful tool by Rikon. It has the included dust blower here, and you can manipulate it however you want it to go if you're left or right-handed and you want it on either side. So really, really cool. Rock solid. Thank you again, Rikon, for including the scroll saw as well as the stand for great portability. Let me move the camera one more time and we'll wrap up the video. And that, my friends, is the fully assembled 22-inch variable speed Rikon scroll saw as well as the stand. I want to once again thank Rikon as well as Klingspor Woodworking Shop for hooking me up and trusting me to do today's video and give a genuine opinion of the scroll saw itself. I cannot say enough nice things about Rikon and Klingspor because those are two amazing companies that get it and really support the woodworker and help you try to achieve and get to that next level. I cannot say enough nice things about them. This is my second time also working and collaborating with the Rikon company. You guys remember I done the original unboxing video of the table saw that the camera is sitting on, and now for the scroll saw and stand that is sitting behind the camera. For those curious, the model number for the scroll saw itself is number 10-622VS. There you see it printed boldly on the instruction manual, and this will go with the rest of my manuals and a file and everything. But really, really cool. That is a very rock solid and robust tool. And keep in mind, going forward, you're still going to see the Delta scroll saw featured on the channel because that is what I am familiar with, and I'm going to have to do some more projects over on the Rikon scroll saw to get more familiar with it as well. But another thing is that Rikon scroll saw is 2 inches bigger, as well as the frame is bigger than the Delta scroll saw I'm using. So I do not know if it'll fit over here where the Delta's at. You guys know I like working with an L-shaped workbench to where I can pick stuff up and set it aside and keep rocking and rolling instead of having to keep getting up, getting down, getting up, getting down, and breaking up the workflow. But if the Rikon scroll saw will not fit there, it will live comfortably and happily on the stand that was included. That was what took up the majority of the time in today's video. But keep in mind, that scroll saw stand is just an added accessory that you purchase separately from the scroll saw. And if you have somewhere to go on and set the scroll saw, like where my Delta's living, you do not even need the stand. And I will tell you right now, there's no need to even try to bolt the Rikon scroll saw down because it is a heavy, robust tool and there's very minimal vibration in it. If you guys could tell in the video, I've already set the frame up to where it is on an angle to reduce neck and shoulder strain. That way you can sit and scroll comfortably for hours on end. I cannot tell you how many times I've just looked at my watch and been surprised by how much time has passed by because I am scrolling in such comfort when the scroll saw is on an angle like that. But really cool. This is a great scroll saw to pick up for someone if you are interested in picking one up for someone, or if you're looking to elevate your game and get a more higher end scroll saw. Really, really cool. What I'm going to do is leave links to all of Rikon's contact information down in the description box below. That way you can reach out to them on their social medias and websites as well if you guys are interested in their scroll saw or any of their other amazing tools that they have to offer. There is going to be a few more videos going forward featuring the Delta scroll saw, but then we will start rocking and rolling with projects on the Rikon scroll saw, so please keep that in mind. And once again, thank you Rikon and Klingspor Woodworking Shop. I really need a Rikon banner as well to hang up out here in the workshop to show the support and the love for everything. But really, really cool. That's about all for this video. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to it and also follow me across all my social medias under the Artisan Pirate name. As always, links to contact me as well as all my social medias will always be linked down in the description box below these videos. That's about all for this one. And remember guys, if I can make it or do it, so can you. I'm the Artisan Pirate. Take care, and I'll see you guys real soon.